and welcome to my Bolt UV. This is Jim and we're going from point A to point B. Climb in, let's go. This is part 2 of the 1,000-mile road trip that I took over the Labor Day weekend. We're going to delve into a little bit more understanding of by the minute and by the kilowatt hour, my recommendations for when you're charging by the minute and when charging by the kilowatt hour, and then finally we're going to talk a little bit about what is fair and what is gouging, and then I'm going to demonstrate charging from 30 to 70%, which is what I recommend for all Bolt EV and Bolt EUV owners. Per minute versus per kilowatt hour. Per minute charging is still the norm in at least 20 of the 50 United States, leading to much confusion for EV owners. The key question here is, how can you meter time on a DC fast charge unit for a product that is metered out to the customer in a measurable quantity known as kilowatt hours? And the answer to that question is simple: you cannot. Electrify America tries to tackle that question by charging lower per minute rates to users who have slower charging curve, and more for those cars that charge even faster, up to 350 kilowatts. But even then, that cannot be compared. Per kilowatt hour charging is simple. You deliver 1 kilowatt hour at a set price, no matter how fast the kilowatt hour is delivered into the car. It's as simple as that. So charging by the minute is going to be the norm for the next few months, and I'm sure maybe even the next few years. But just know this: the slower you charge, the resulting cost is going to be higher. For example, for 15 minutes, if you're at 20 cents per minute at 45 kilowatts, you're going to add about 11.25 kilowatts to your car. That's the resulting cost is going to be then 26.7 cents per kilowatt hour. That same 15 minutes at 20 cents a minute at 30 kilowatts is only going to add 7.5 kilowatt hours, and the resulting cost is 40 cents per kilowatt hour. So based on the charging curve of the Bolt EV and Bolt EUV, it's best to stop charging at 70%. And at 20 cents per minute, a full charge on your Bolt EUV is going to cost you $24. So looking at the typical charging curve for the Bolt EV, EUV, and based on 20 cents per minute charging, from 0 to 30% you're going to pay about $6. From 30 to 70% you're going to pay about $6. And from 70 to 100% you're going to pay about $12, because it drops off significantly in that 70 to 100% charging range. And the typical recommendation of 20 to 80% will take you 55 minutes, will cost you $11, and will be 28.2 cents per kilowatt hour when all is said and done. So when you're charging by the kilowatt hour, you don't have to pay attention to time. You don't have to pay attention to anything except the delivery of the charge to your car. And for 120 minutes at 36 cents per kilowatt hour, which is one of the prices that Electrify America charges, for a 65 kilowatt hour battery, you're looking at $23.40 for a 0 to 100% charge. So basically, when you're charging a car on a per kilowatt hour system, it's going to take the same amount of time as it does on a per minute system. The difference is you're going to pay a little more up front, 0 to 70%, and a little less on the back end from 70 to 100%. But overall, it's about the same price overall, $23.40 versus $24. So 20 to 80% will still take you about 55 minutes, and in this case, it's going to be about $14.04. But the best thing you can do is charge 30 to 70%. And that's going to take about 30 minutes and cost you about $9.36. There's a free 50 kilowatt charger locally that I shot a video from 30 to 70% to give you an idea about how much time it takes. Keep in mind it'll be a little bit faster on a faster charger, say 100 kilowatt charger. But in this case, this is what I had to work with, and the price was free, so here we go. Okay, we're rolling up to a charger that I like to use. It's free. It's only a 50 kilowatt charger, but hey, it's free, and that's the best price there is. It's probably going to take me a few minutes to get everything set up, and we'll see what happens when I pull up into the charging slot, and we'll get this thing started here shortly. guys, I apologize. The background noise is going to be pretty loud. We've got the air conditioner on. I'm going to turn the car off when it hits 70%, which should be in just a few minutes. Or I should say it's when it hits 30%, I'll turn the car off. And then we'll see how long it takes to go from 30 to 70. And that is right now, so I'll be back when it hits 70%. I stand corrected. I forgot about the taper that starts at 65%. At that point in time, we were pulling about 46.5 kilowatt off the charger. And right at 65%, just like clockwork, it dropped to 41.5. And I'll take another look at it here in just a few minutes. So I'm looking at probably another 6, 7, 8 minutes on the charger. Let you know in a few minutes. About 69%. As soon as it hits 70, we'll stop this bad boy. So about 35 minutes so far, but that's from 27 to 70%. So in reality, about 30 minutes on the charger, delivering about, should be right at 26 kilowatt hours when everything is said and done. Give it just a few more seconds here. And we'll call that finished. Okay guys, we're going to call that finished. 70%, 30 to 70% on a 50 kilowatt charger, and we're going to say under 30 minutes, for sure under 35 minutes, 27 to 70, 27% to 70%, under 35 minutes. And the total cost for this charge, $0. If I'd have been on a little bit faster charger, I would have probably pushed up into the mid 50s, 53, 54 kilowatt hours until I hit that 65% drop off. That is part of the problem with the charging on the Bolts and Bolt EV and Bolt EV is the charging curve drops off way too fast, too early. By the time this was done, I was down to 35 kilowatts on the charging speed, and that Chevrolet is totally unacceptable. You can do better than that, and you can fix that. Anyway, more later. For those of you who do travel up and down I-4, this is the center in Deltona. It is a free charger provided by Duke Energy. You need the Shell Recharge app to use it. You can see this is a fairly nice, quiet facility. The center is used for, it's a wedding venue, such events like that, things that will keep you entertained, basically. But as you can see, there's two chargers here. Both have a CCS and CHAdeMO charger on them. It is free. It's about a mile off the interstate. And if you're ever in this area, a good place to get a free charge. Now let's do a quick look at the comparison from 0 to 30% on the by minute, $6, and per the kilowatt hour, $7.02. From 30 to 70 again on the per minute charge is $6, and it's $9.36 on the kilowatt hour. From 70 to 100%, it costs $12 on the per minute and only $7.02 on the kilowatt hour, and the full charge is about the same, $24 for a per minute charge and $23.40 for a kilowatt hour charge. And the 0 to 80%, you're going to get it faster or cheaper on the per minute, $11 versus $14.04. So now let's talk about fair pricing or price gouging. The next picture is going to show you that price gouging is very real, and I'm just going to leave the picture up there for you to look at. But the bottom line is the average price per kilowatt hour in the United States is 23 cents per kilowatt hour. Some places higher, some places lower, but the average is 23 cents per kilowatt hour. And if you take the average and put a margin plus a small profit on top of that, the maximum that should be charged to anybody is 39.6 cents per kilowatt hour. And as you can see on most of these up top here on the per kilowatt plan, most of them are much higher than 39.6%. And that can be a problem, especially when you start charging by the minute. In summary, if you're charging a Bolt EV EUV on a per minute charger, it is most economical to charge only from 30 to 70% if possible to maximize charging speed and reduce the time spent on the charger. And this is likely true for all car makes. The only fair way to mete out electricity is per the kilowatt hour, which is quantifiable. Per minute is nebulous and will vary from car to car, and it's not right to charge two cars that take in different amounts the exact same price in the same measured time. It would be like a gas car paying $5 a minute to use a pump, but one car can take in 5 gallons in that minute and the other car can only take in 2 gallons in that minute. It cannot be justified no matter how much spin you put on it. You can comment if you wish, but my only response to this matter, by the minute, is 100% stupid. Full stop. This is my final mention on this subject. It is time to standardize charging prices across the nation. You do not see wildly different gas prices in neighboring gas stations. Prices vary by state because of state taxes and proximity to refineries. Why do EV owners have a different experience when trying to fuel their vehicle? I know I've said some things that are controversial, but let's be real. The only way to quantifiably measure electricity is by the kilowatt hour, not by the minute. You don't do that with gasoline. You don't charge gasoline by the minute, you charge it by the gallon. And the same thing should be true for electricity. So please do subscribe, share, comment, and like, and ring that notification bell if you want to know when I upload something new. Remember to treat everyone with kindness, put a smile on your face, help somebody today, and pay it forward when someone does the same for you. I want to thank you again for stopping by, and I hope to see you again real soon or somewhere along the route from point A to point B.